Hey everybody, it's Joseph.a.worrall, and today I'm going to be showing you how to tone a silver coin. Alright, so what we're doing today is we're using that liver of sulphur, and we're going to mix just a little drop of that into just some water. What you see there is actually an Old Spice shaving mug from a long time ago. That was actually my grandpa's. So I didn't show how to mix the water, but the weaker you make it, the longer this takes, but the more control you have over the toning. So if you make it really, really strong, then it'll tone it really fast. You don't have a whole lot of control over how much toning you have. And as you can see, I'm just kind of rubbing it around. The brushes I use, I have some paint brushes and stuff to use, but I really like these sponge brushes. One side I keep pretty wet, and the other side, the more rounded one, that side right there, is more or less dry. I just use it to rub it around. What I really like about those brushes is that they evaporate quickly, especially if you use warm water, which right now I'm just using room temperature water. So it evaporates quickly, and you'll see me right there blowing on it, and that evaporates it off the coin, which kind of speeds up the toning process. I do have the video at double speed right now just because this does take a while. I think it took me about 40 minutes to actually do the front and back of this coin. Today's goal for this coin is to tone all of the fields and the outside, and I'm going to take off the toning for the letters and whatever I get on the bust and the date. So right there, I'm just blowing on it to get it to dry. You'll start seeing it take on a little bit of a brown hue. It goes brown and then blue and then purple. So if you want to stop at brown, just to give it a little bit more of a brownish color, you can. All you have to do is just take the coin and go wash it in tap water. I wash it in the hottest water that I can get out of my tap, just to stop the chemical reaction off of it. You can use baking soda if you want to. Baking soda, it will stop the reaction, but so will just washing it off. It's right there. Just applied a little bit extra water onto the date area to try to even out the tone a little bit. Right there, I'm rolling the brush, and that kind of squeezes out little water droplets. I'm not putting very much pressure on this. I am putting a little bit of pressure on it, but not enough to rub it all off. I like to keep it in my hand. I try not to touch any of the face or the fields, just so I don't get fingerprints in it. When you're toning them like this, it's really easy to get a fingerprint in there because of the oils on your fingers. You'll see me during this video, I actually go wash my hands about 2 or 3 times just to make sure the oil on my fingers doesn't leave fingerprints on it. So you notice there's no audio on this video. I was actually listening to some pretty non-appropriate music. It was Slipknot and Korn while I was doing this, and it was pretty loud. I decided just to edit out all of the audio and just do a whole entire voiceover. So now you can kind of see it. It's getting a little bit darker brown, and then the next time I bring it up to the camera, you're going to see the whole entire thing. So this brush, I really like it. The sponge is more like a foam sponge instead of just a foam tip. But I just broke the brush there, so kind of got to get a new one for that. Again, when the tone's uneven, you just put a little bit more just on one spot, let it sit, kind of rub it in. I really like the fine point brushes. You can get into little nicks a lot easier. I try not to put any on the bust, on the face right now. I don't want it on the face. I'm just going to have to take it off later, so the less I get on there now, the better it is. But I'm not trying to simply avoid it. I can take it off later. It's not hard to do, and I'll show you on the very end how to do it. And just continuously keep working in circles. Try to get all those little nooks and crannies. You can kind of see on the letters where it doesn't quite go into the coin. It leaves a little open spot. And then also on the word trust, it leaves a little bit of an open spot. So I try to work those little holes. Now it's starting to get quite a bit darker, as you can see. Again, like I said, it'll go from brown to blue to purple. And you can kind of see the purple start coming up there. I think I've got it pretty much to where I want it to be. And then we'll start on the reverse. So the reverse is pretty much the same idea. There's a lot more open area, but I kind of decided that I wanted to do more of like a sunrise or sunburst behind the eagle. So you guys will see that I mainly concentrate on the outer edge, on the outer rim. I do put a little bit on the open fields on the inside, but I just want a nice solid purple on the outside of the coin. So here we are. I kind of sped up the shot a little bit. This goes through and it shows you a little bit more of the brown when it starts to take on the toning in the back. You see what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to make one solid circle right around the outside of it. I don't want a sharp line. I do want it to fade into it, but that will come with just the leaching of the metal. So it'll start fading itself. I don't have to actually fade it. You guys see me mostly concentrate on just the outside rim. Again, using the same brush, and the stronger your liquid is, the faster it's going to tone. But like I said, I really don't want it that strong. You can kind of see the color of it. It's kind of like you dropped a piece of a boiled egg into water, which is pretty much what it is. It's sulphur. Sulphur is what makes it tone. But I don't put too much liquid on it. But right when it evaporates off the coin is when most of the toning happens. So I put some on there, and then I rub it around, and then I blow on it, and it dries it off. So right here you can see it kind of leaching into the fields in the middle, and that's just from rubbing my finger around it. My hand gets in the way a little bit, but I try not to put my fingers on the fields at all. It's just a brush underneath my finger. My finger's not actually on the coin. Now my left hand is on the coin, but that's not a spot I want to tone. So there I was blowing on it, and you can start to see the darker colors, the purples and blues. They'll start coming up here soon. So there we go. When you get into the light, you can see the blues and the purples and the brown there, and then go back to the front. So right now I'm pretty much happy with what I have. and then I had to go wash my hands. And I went and washed the coin. Just to stop that reaction. And now, so you want to pat it dry. You do not want to rub it. If you rub it, that toning will come right off, or it'll just ruin the toning that you just did. And there we go. So here we're going to go into how to clean off some of the toning that you don't want. And I have 2 erasers there. You can see one is just a big eraser, and the other one I've cut to a point. So this just helps, and you don't want to put too much pressure on it. It's really, really light. It'll eventually come off. You don't need to press it, or you don't need to push it. That really small point one works for the letters and the dates and all that type of stuff. So there we go, it's nice and cleaned up. Now we're going to move on to the front of the coin. So this one, again, it's just another eraser. It's just a little bit smaller, so I can get into a little bit finer details. The other eraser was starting to take off too much, so you'll see me later. I have to retone it a little bit just to fix it. So this is probably one of my favorite little tools. This is actually used for when I do charcoal drawings to smooth out the charcoal. This works really well because paper picks up a lot of the water, and you can use the backside of it if you think you got too much water on it. And this is just me retoning the areas inside that the eraser took off too much. Again, you want to pat it dry and don't rub it. And there we go. So there we go with the finished product. So you can see the blues and the purples and the brown, and on the back the same thing. You got that ring right behind it. I think this one turned out pretty well. So please like this video and subscribe and share, and I will see everybody around in the chat rooms.